This is the KBK World Service.
Trump's legal team engaging in all sorts of whataboutism, playing out of context clips in an effort to argue the former president's words didn't incite the Capitol rioters. Many of those clips showing people of color, especially black women, speaking about the Black Lives Matter protests we saw this summer. Impeachment manager and House Delegate Stacey Plaskett noticed.
I'll briefly say that defense counsels put a lot of videos out in their defense, playing clip after clip of black women talking about fighting for a cause or an issue or a policy. It was not lost on me as so many of them were people of color and women, and black women like myself, who are sick and tired of being sick and tired for our children, your children, our children. This summer, things happened that were violent, but there were also things that gave some of us black women great comfort. Seeing Amish people from Pennsylvania standing up with us, members of Congress fighting up with us. And so I thought we were past that. I think maybe we're not.
So joining me now, CNN political analyst and VP of digital content at the GRIO, Natasja Alford. Natasja, good to see you. Thank you so much for appearing. So Manager Plaskett calling out what was clear to a lot of people watching, especially women and people of color. What did you think when you saw what the Trump team was doing?
Well, Don, I thought what we witnessed with these videos was really a master class in manipulation. As you said, they took quotes out of context. You know, they highlighted anything that would make Donald Trump appear to be reasonable and to be someone who was a preserver of peace, when we know that so much of the language that he used, going all the way back to the campaign trail, was really an endorsement of violence and unrest. And so, you know, even the cheesy music underneath, it was all really an effort in propaganda. Really, it came across as propaganda to position Donald Trump in one way and to make Democrats look as though they were, you know, cheerleaders of violence. And what we know is that that's a misrepresentation. When Democrats of color are blasting racial injustice or police brutality or voting access, we're talking about something that truly hits at the heart of the sins of America. And also, these are issues for which their own ancestors fought and died, like literally practiced civil disobedience. So I thought it was a perversion of the legacy of what it means to fight for social justice for these defense lawyers to use these clips in the way that they did. And I think that Stacey Plaskett is right. Black women have every right to be sick and tired, because when we're talking about fighting, we're talking about fighting for the right to vote. Stacey Abrams, fighting to work and be paid what we deserve, fighting to raise black children who won't be killed for you know, just any reason, right? Won't be killed at all. So these issues are really important to the values America says that it stands for, and these defense lawyers were trying to manipulate that and really pervert that legacy.
And you're not talking about fighting people physically and inciting an insurrection in the nation's capital, because there is zero equivalency, Natasja, between people of color calling for justice and Trump pushing the big lie and inciting an insurrection. It's not just, I mean, it's not just an absurd argument. It's also a very dangerous one, I think.
Yeah, it's incredibly dangerous, and it's also a deflection. I don't know if you noticed that part where, you know, they tried to blame rioters who were on the left and say that there were somehow infiltrators who came, and it really wasn't the folks who were on the right who looked us in our faces, who were on camera saying exactly who they were. And so it's this continuation of perverting the truth and telling us that we're not seeing what we really know that we're seeing, and telling us that there are both sides to right and wrong when we know that doesn't exist.
Yeah. You know, it shouldn't be lost on anyone that there are now no black women in the Senate. It just goes to the point that these women are really what these women were talking about. They're still pushing for equality, as you said. No black women in the Senate. I mean, that speaks volume, especially when you see who's defending the president, what the bulk of the Senate looks like, and what the optics of this looks like on television.
It does, and we have to note that Stacey Plaskett is a history-making impeachment manager, right? She's, she's coming in as a non-voting delegate representing the U.S. Virgin Islands, and she also took this moment to shout out the ways in which there is not representation, whether you're talking about Puerto Rico or D.C. when it comes to voting on legislation. And so I think she spoke for many people, not just herself, but many communities of color that felt disenfranchised or who are disenfranchised in this current moment. And so that is what I think the power of her presentation was more than about this impeachment, but again, about America taking this moment to truly live up to the values that it says it stands for. And she said that in the speech. This moment will define us. And unfortunately, there's so many members of the GOP who are beholden to Donald Trump that they put party over country. And this is why, we're in this situation right now with this trial.
There was Natasja, there was a new setup outside of the Capitol on January 6th. People with Confederate battle flags inside the Capitol building, white supremacists. And now we're having to relive all of that during this trial. You tweeted about the generational trauma and terror that this attack represents. Talk to me about that, please.
Yeah, I was just really moved to see this mob storm the Capitol. And it reminded me of other moments in history that we've witnessed in which Black people were subject to mob violence, and there was this feeling that nothing would be done about it. You think about Emmett Till, brutally murdered, and his killers sitting in court and smiling because they knew that they wouldn't be held accountable. 4 little girls killed in a church, no accountability. No justice for Tamir Rice, who was playing with a toy gun, but we watch insurrectionists, run through the halls of the Capitol and threaten people's lives. And so I think for Black Americans, we know what it's like to not have accountability. And we're always asked to forgive and to move on and sort of accept that unity and forgiveness, that should be the priority. And now I think other people are getting a taste of that reality. They're seeing what it means to see violence go unchecked. And so again, this is a moment where America can reset, but it's not just about moving forward and calling for bipartisanship. You actually have to have accountability in order to have healing.
Thank you, Natasja. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Before we go to break, can we just put the video up of Capitol Police Officer Eugene Goodman? I think it's great that they gave him a standing ovation today, and they're also going to give him the Congressional Gold Medal for his heroics, for helping to save everybody's lives, leading Mitt Romney away, and so on. So congratulations to him. Well deserved.
Don't make me laugh.